Yes. Mighty companions. Let's get ready to go deep today. Because there's a call of God, I see it everywhere. Everybody's running scared. Everything will turn upside down. But what I hear keep coming through from deep inside of me and you. It's telling us that love is who I am. Are you loved? You and me were not that far apart. We'll be in the same heart. We've been together from the start. Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you hear it? What else? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it. Know that we are one. Welcome to the Facebook Live, of course, in Miracles. This is Earl Purdy. Let's do it. Let's come together to understand that Christ was born in every man. He's waiting for us to choose Him as ourselves. The love consciousness, the Christ consciousness. When you choose Him, you know you choose each other too. And everyone is a part of you. And then you know that love is who I am. Oh yeah. Well, you and me, we're not that far apart. We're not that far apart. The same heart. We've been together from the start. Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you hear it? Oh yeah. Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it. Know that we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. Yes, we are. We are one. Welcome to Facebook Live, of course, in Miracles. Just remember that you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You're not even having to welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. And some of the ideas will be quite startling. You're not asked to judge the ideas at all. If you use the ideas will show you that they are true. If you use the ideas, 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 guess what? Oh yeah. You and me, we're not that far apart. We're not that far apart. We're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. We've been together from the start. Can you hear it and feel it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. One in the fun in the sun. One in the fun in the sun. One and fun in the sun, one and fun in the sun, one and fun in the sun, two and fun in just one and fun in the sun. I am you, whether you like it or not. You are me, whether you like. I like it though. Yeah. Could we give it up for us, Holy Spirit? Can we? I am so glad to be here for the Sanity Patrol. I'm telling you, those of you online on Facebook Live, it's so good to see you. Good to have you on board. And don't forget to make comments, share the video, do a like, and keep the communication going, because that's why we're doing it live, so that we can feel the presence of each other. Yeah. So a lot of people be watching us. And we're going to finish up the healed relationship. Last week we were talking about how do you have a healed, whole, happy relationship. And the Course in Miracles says that a healed relationship is a relationship that's a sane relationship. And the same relationship is a relationship that's full of passion, peace, joy, love, safety, real security, spirit, God, freedom, total innocence. It's eternal, it's immortal, and you also keep on growing. And the Course makes the statement that when you ask spirit to enter a relationship, when you ask God to enter a relationship, it's going to become disturbed, disjuncted, and usually if I'm patient, it comes back. Yeah. Those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, if it freezes, hang in there. There's a little Wi-Fi call for God going on. And so if you'll be patient, usually it will come right back. So don't be fooled by me doing a robot. Look like I'm freezing. Okay? So just hang in there, even if we have a little technical difficulties. And what we should all do collectively, since we're creating our reality, is cut it out. Stop doing it. We're the ones that's making it happen. We're the creators. Okay, so when you ask out of alignment your relationship is with a real spiritual holy relationship, you'll see just how much you are not in alignment with a real peaceful, loving relationship. I'll say it again. When you ask the universe to take over, when you ask spirit to take over, you're going to see what's not right about it. What's not giving you peace about it. You're going to see how much the relationship is out of accord with the goal that you've set forward. And so the Course in Miracles says that then you will see that the goal you set and the structure of your relationship is so different that you will not be able to maintain that relationship unless you change the structure of the relationship to suit the goal. So you're going to have to be willing to change the way you perceive and the way that you express yourself in the relationship in order to have a truly peaceful, loving relationship. You can't continue to try to change the relationship to fit your goal. You have to change you can't keep changing the goal to fit your idea of a relationship. You have to change the relationship to fit your goal. Most of us come up with what we want out of a relationship and then try to fit everybody into it. We come up with what it should look like, and then we want to fit everybody and everything into it. And the Course in Miracles is saying, no, you set the goal of sanity and you set the goal of peace. And then you have to learn the rules of how to have sanity and peace in a relationship. And so it says don't shift the goal slow either. Don't do it slow. Because your ego is going to reinterpret every bit of it according to your liking, and you think you're really changing, and you're not changing at all. And it also says that if you want a complete change of mind, then you have to have a radical shift in your purpose. If you have a real shift in your purpose, that is a change of mind. So a change of mind, according to A Course in Miracles, is a change of purpose, a radical shift. So you have to say, I want sanity, I want peace, I want what's real love, and I'm not going to continue to compromise about that. So how can you tell if you're doing it? Well, he says, well, as this change develops and is finally accomplished, you can tell because two things happen. And what those two things are is that the relationship becomes increasingly beneficial and joyous. So if you're moving in the right direction, your relationship should be more beneficial and joyous. And if you're moving in the wrong direction, it sucks and sucks and sucks and sucks. Okay? I'm going to break it down. I'm going to do the Course in Miracles in plain language. Okay? So then it says something very interesting. undertaken that. Check it out now. He says, a relationship undertaken by two individuals. So in this context, the Course in Miracles said what? Two individuals. Like many times people ask me, well, can't you just do it by yourself? But you're already doing that.
Yeah.
So what's the point of being in a relationship? Or if you feel like you're the only one that needs to change your mind, people, so I just need to work on myself and then everything's going to be okay regardless of what my partner does. Yeah, you can work on yourself and you can give yourself a lot of peace. You're right, your peace does come from you. What's the point in being in a relationship with somebody and you're the only one that's trying to evolve and grow and have love in it? That's stupid. It is. Think about it. You're going to say, okay, I just want to do it by myself, but it's not necessary for my partner to also want to join me in the goal of sanity. What kind of sense does that make? I mean, are they that good? There's something they're giving you that's that good that you be willing to stick in the relationship, not have any joy in it, not grow, not have any communication, and you take on all the responsibility for being the same one just so you can be with this person who has no interest in any of that? It must be something really special that you get from that joker, whoever that is. Yeah, they make a lot of money. Yeah, they really cute. Awesome in bed. It's something else that's more important to you than your peace. So you're going to have everything, maybe, but your peace. Think about that. You could have the house, you could have the car, you could have the money, you could have the trips, but you won't have any peace with them. So I don't know. That doesn't sound like a win-win to me. What's the point if we're not experiencing love and communication with each other? One of the signs of true spiritual awakening is that your peace becomes more important than anything or anybody. And so the Course then says, and you have to stop listening to the voice inside your head. The one that you're making up, the one that's always telling you what needs to be different in order for you to be happy. You got to stop listening to that voice. Because that voice has one characteristic. It never runs out of things that it tells you that needs to be different in order for you to be happy. Ever. It goes from one thing to another to another. This needs to change, then this needs to change. So the Course in Miracles says at the beginning, the situation is experienced as very precarious, a relationship undertaken by who? Two individuals for their unholy, fearful, special, guilty purposes. I'm going to give you some Course in Miracles definitions for these terms so that I can do it in plain language. Don't let the word holy freak you out. You know, unholy means a relationship that's based on guilt and fear and bargains and limitation. So you finally got that for your goal. He says suddenly you have holiness, which is happiness, in your relationship for the goal of the relationship. As these two people contemplate based on me wanting sanity and peace, I don't see none anywhere in this. I see fear and conflict. So now my old way of looking at things no longer serves the purpose that we've agreed to meet. My old purpose was somehow or another I didn't think I deserved love and peace. At some level, evidently, now I have decided I do. So the old way of thinking that produced the unhappy way of being, that way of looking at things will not serve the new purpose. This is the time for faith. You let this goal be set for you because actually it was your higher self, your greater self that inspired you to want to actually have a sane, loving relationship. You would have stayed in the old ways of doing it forever had not your greater self intervened. That's right. So this was really a goal that was set for you. And that was an act of faith. So what do? Don't abandon faith. What do you mean don't abandon faith? Well, now that the rewards of faith are being introduced, don't abandon faith. If you believe the Holy Spirit was there to accept the relationship, if you believe that God in love was there to accept the relationship, why would you now not still believe that the Creator has, guess what? Why would you still believe that Spirit is there to purify what Spirit is taking under His guidance? If I gave it to God, why don't I still believe that God is still working God's plan with my relationship? That's what it means by don't abandon your faith. I know I'm a Paul right now. I know I see what I wish was different right now, but I have given it up. I'm willing to have a sane, loving relationship. So this is my time for faith. Now notice it says two individuals. In other words, if you're in a relationship with someone and you both value the relationship enough that you both want to have a peaceful, loving relationship, and you both know you have egos and misperception, and you both have agreed that you're going to go beyond that together, you're going to have some distressing things that happen at the beginning. So do not abandon your faith. Faith in what? That I gave it to the higher power, and the higher power is there to heal the relationship that I've given to the higher power. And then the Course in Miracles says, what should you do then? It says, well, you should have faith in each other in what seems to be a very trying time. So not only am I going to have faith that I've given it to Spirit, I'm also going to have faith in the love in you and the sanity in you and the part of you that also wants to have peace and sanity. I'm going to believe that there is a part of you that also wants to peace as much as I do in our relationship, because we set the goal together. So that means a person who's consciously evolving in their intimate relationships and their friendships are actually having intention with their friends. Mm-hmm. They're having intention with their romantic partner or partners. Mm-hmm. That you're not just hoping a really cool relationship shows up. You're saying, hey, guess what? You're valuable to me. Let's set the goal of using our relationship as a means for awakening to the truth of who we really are. Let's use our relationship for peace and joy and fulfillment. How do we use our relationship and soul? So this does not appeal to people who are not consciously evolving souls. This is not something that's just going to appeal to somebody who just want to have a good time, but they don't want to evolve. My classes are for people who want to evolve. There are tons of manifestation classes. You want to manifest a car? Go to Auto Nation. And the miracle would be with your credit score, you got the car. One good thing about being on a spiritual journey, you ever lose all your credit, or all your material things, and all, because usually if somebody's serious on the spiritual goal, spiritual path, sooner or later they go through those things. It's almost like it's built in. That you're going to go through times that look like you have a lot, and times that look like you don't have so much materially, so that you can see that the universe takes care of you regardless of your credit score. That all of those things that you think are taking care of you in the outer are not the things that are taking care of you in the out at all. And sometimes you don't realize that until you seem like you're up against the wall. And when you're up against the wall, stay there. Yeah. And if you stay up against the wall, which means you still keep focusing on the truth, no matter what looks like is happening in your world, you'll pass through the wall. And before you know it, you're on the other side, and you won't know how you got there. But when you're up against the wall, you're going to be tempted to go back to the past and try to handle things one more time the way that you always have, which is you coming up with your plan and then saying God gave it to you, and then try to act it out, and then wonder why you're struggling, which is your way of knowing it was your plan that you assigned to God. Mm-hmm. Which we're great at. Mm-hmm. I'll come up with my plan, and then I'll say God was the one who gave me the plan. Okay. Right? Because it's something I want to do. Just like I was attracted to somebody and I knew they weren't the best person for me, but I said God brought them into my life because I want to deal with it. Right? So the Course in Miracles then says, have faith in each other in what seems to be a trying time, because the goal is set. And okay, now, what is the goal? Then the very next sentence it says, and your relationship has sanity as its purpose. That's the goal. So a holy relationship is a what? A sane relationship. For now you find yourself in an insane relationship, which it calls an unholy relationship, which it calls, by the way, a special relationship. These are all synonyms in the Course. So it's like, so when it says you're in an unholy relationship, what kind of relationship is it saying? An insane relationship. And when it says you want a holy relationship, what kind of relationship is that? A sane relationship. And what is a sane relationship? Where the two people have the goal of God and peace together. That if my goal with you is peace, and your goal is with me is peace, then by definition, attacking each other is unacceptable. Because of the goal we set, there is no point that attacking you would be part of having a holy relationship. I'm sorry. I don't care how mad you get. I don't care how upset you get. I don't care what it is you think that they've done that you don't like. At the point you attack, you're in an insane relationship with that person. Hold it. I'm going to get to it. Just hold it. I'm glad to see your enthusiasm. It says, now you find yourself in an insane relationship, recognized as an insane relationship in light of its goal. Then it says, now, your ego, the part of you that's that voice within your head that's always about keeping you in conflict or fear and feeling like you're not enough, that fear-based voice is going to counsel, substitute for this relationship another relationship in which your former goal was quite appropriate. You can escape from your distress only by getting rid of this joker. You can only get out of your distress only by getting rid of this person. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Anybody ever heard that voice? Get rid of them. And the Course says, oh, you don't need to part from them entirely now if you don't choose to, but you got to exclude some major areas of fantasy. You got to exclude some major areas of fantasy from your brother to save your sanity. I got to hide from you. I got to not really express myself with you. I got to not really be honest with you in order to stay together. I'm going to start hiding. I'm going to be afraid. I'm not going to share. I'm not going to communicate. I'm going to have a lot of stuff I do that you don't know about. So I can keep this pitiful relationship in my perception together. There are a lot of people don't know this. What kept their relationship together when they were married was the outside relationship. The only reason that person was able to stay with them was because they had somewhere they was getting some kind of break. And so I'm not defending in one way or another. I'm just saying get real. Get real. Sometimes the reason why someone is being with you is because they can extend to other people that they enjoy. Extension always works to your advantage. And if you're a really loving person, the only thing that's going to happen when they extend is appreciate you more. Sometimes you appreciate who you're with the most when you have a chance to communicate and join with other people. And you can even enjoy them, but you'll also see the light that that person brings into your life too. And you take a lot of pressure off of yourself and you take a lot of pressure off of them. You can't be my everything. You cannot be my everything. You cannot be anyone's everything. Okay? You can't do it. I don't care how good you think you are. It's not even meant to be that way. It's not even meant to, because you are everything. Everything is you. Would you love your hand at the expense of your toes, your chest, your stomach, your head, your eyes, your ears? But that's what you're doing when you exclude the rest of your brothers and sisters just so you can focus your attention on one person to the exclusion of everybody else. In love. I'm not talking about in sex. In love. Love is not sex. Sex can be a means of expressing it, but they are not the same thing. To the ego, they are. So to the man that doesn't know the truth, they are. So the Course says, so what should you do with that? It says, don't hear this now. Have faith in the Holy Spirit who answered you. Your higher self heard you. And hasn't the Holy Spirit been very explicit in the Holy Spirit's answer? I told you what's going to happen. You're going to ask me to come in. You're going to see what's going on in the relationship that you wish were different. You're going to be tempted to get rid of the person. Have faith in each other now. I just told you what to do. I've given you a most explicit statement. Now, I, the Holy Spirit, the higher self, I'm asking for faith a little longer. When? Even when you're in bewilderment. Even when you don't know what's going on. I'm asking for faith a little longer. The bewilderment will go. If you keep focusing on the truth together and you're using the truth to guide you to the kind of relationship it brings us back to sanity. Even if it means me going to one room, you going to another, me going to the park, and you going to hell. Oh, sorry, that was my ego's request. Forget that part, right? While you're there, heal relationship. Because you're already in a hell relationship. There's a heal relationship and there's a hell relationship. So Then what? Then you come back together when you have reached some level of sanity, and now you can talk about whatever the issue is. The worst time in the world to talk to somebody and try to clear up something in a relationship is when you're both upset and insane. So if the person wants to walk away, let them. Don't say, don't walk away from me while I'm talking. This is what the Course in Miracles says. It's not that this book is hard. He just says most people don't think they're worth the effort. So the truth is, he says, don't abandon the Holy Spirit now, and don't abandon each other. The relationship has been reborn as holy and healed. That's a very complete thought. Now, any questions or comments about what I've said?
Yeah, after getting recently slammed against the wall.
Please talk louder so that everybody can hear us.
After recently getting slammed against the wall with my own stuff, slamming myself, I decided I needed peace. And I'm going to New York, and I'm going to be, I reached out to my brother. We haven't spoken in years. Now, I'm listening to what you say about relationship, and that seems more like intimate or close relationships. We haven't spoken in years, and I'm reaching out to him, and we're going to have dinner together. He actually answered, we're going to have dinner together. So I'm trying to understand if my objective is to try to come to peace, not force him into my objective, but to try to bring peace back into this relationship. I mean, this is a biological brother. We're reaching, as I like to say, we're in the checkout line of life. We're getting closer to the cash register. And I'd like to bring a healedness to this relationship. But, he comes from a way different point. I'm not entering into it, as you said earlier, with somebody who agrees with the process. How do I deal with that?
If I were you, and I want to have a relationship with someone that's peaceful, I would tell them that I really want to heal with them and I really like to have a peaceful relationship.
Okay.
If they're not willing to join me in that, then I'm still going to do everything in my power to change my perception of them, and I'm going to have to bless and release them and let it go however it goes. You can't make him want to do what he doesn't want to do.
Right.
But you can also say, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. And I want you to know I'm ready. Each other and attacking each other. And so if you say you want that, then if he sets that intention and you set that intention and you both set that intention, it's impossible for you all not to eventually reach it. But you're going to also see everything in that relationship that's keeping you from having a peaceful relationship. Right. You're also going to realize that you turned it over to the Holy Spirit, and so the Holy Spirit in him and the Holy Spirit in you is also going to be working on having that peaceful relationship. You're not going to abandon him. By abandoning him, I mean that you are not going to let go of your goal of having peace with him no matter what. And that you are willing to continue to not attack him as much as possible. Start there. Don't try to go all the way to Z immediately. Just start with, I want to have a peaceful relationship with you. I love you. And would you be willing to set that intention with me also? If you can do that much, you will be way ahead of the game. And then remember, God is real. This is not something you're trying to do on your own by yourself, which is the way you do things when you don't know the truth. A person still thinks it's up to me to make this work. It's up to me and my inventiveness and my ingeniousness to make this relationship between me and my brother work. No, you gave the relationship up to higher power. You gave it to God. Have faith in God and have faith that there's a part of your brother that has love and truth in him. So and not have an agenda for how he should respond to you, because if you go there already having in your mind how you think he should respond, you're still in an unholy relationship with him, because you still got a script for him about how it should look like. So you still are not coming to him with the attitude that this book is talking about.
Yeah, so what I was hearing while you were talking was to let go of my expectations.
Let go of your
expectations. No matter how
That's right.
pure I believe they may be.
That's right.
That I just have to totally let go of them, sit down at the dinner table, tell them I want peace.
And be interested instead of trying to be interesting. In other words, show an interest in him, show an interest in what's going on in his life, show an interest in what he's thinking and feeling. Most people, when they get together, especially in relationships, it's all about them. They're trying to make the other person be interested in them, rather than going, what do you want? What's happening? So if I really want to love you and you can't stand me, I can go, you know what, whenever you're ready, Peter, to love me, I'm ready to work with you and love you too. But in the meantime, while you're making up your mind about whether or not you're going to do that, I'll be in Hawaii. And I'll be on the beach dancing with my butt off, okay? Because I'm not going to wait around and not give myself joy while you are deciding whether or not you're going to give yourself joy by forgiving. But I'm willing to work with you as soon as you are. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep moving right forward in my peace. That's what you do. That's what you do. You get your hand up?
So I took the goal this week and I reached out to someone that I didn't know if I would ever speak to again.
Mm-hmm.
And I had texted, kind of set a time, and I said, I just really want to have peace with our relationship. And she said, hey, I'll call you on Wednesday or whatever. And it was beautiful. It wasn't great the whole time, but at the end it ended in I love you and I love you back, and I would love to work on this. And it was like, okay, now God is going to shake it up and see what happens now.
Right.
But I'm not going to abandon it, and I had abandoned her. I had said I would never talk with her again.
And so abandon, like I said, don't abandon your brother, don't abandon the Holy Spirit. By that, then it said what that meant. It meant that I'm going to have faith in you, that I'm going to have faith that love is in you, that truth is in you.
So isn't there a fine line, though, of, okay, I need to, I guess I'm having a difficult time understanding, like, yes, I'm giving this relationship up to God, and maybe we're not meant to be interacting in this life. And so I'm having a difficult time understanding, like, well, when do I let go? But it might be perceived as being abandoned.
You can never be responsible for how another person is seeing you. You can only be responsible for your own intent and purpose. If you know what your purpose is, then that's what you are responsible for. The thing that slows people down the most, to me, on their spiritual path, is their wanting to somehow make people see them the way they want to be seen. It's impossible. You can't do that. You can't be responsible for how the other person is going to perceive your actions. It's you knowing your actions are coming from the heart is where your innocence is going to be from. But again, we make it more complicated than it is. If I say I want to have peace with you and I want to connect with you in a loving way, and you show no interest in that, then that's all I need to know.
That's right.
There's nothing else to know. A person who wants to join with you is going to be excited about the idea of joining with you. A person who doesn't is not going to want to do it. So at that point, you're the one that's being controlling, because you're not honoring their right to not choose to have that relationship with you right now. They got a right to not want to have a relationship with you right now if they don't want to. Just because you want one doesn't mean that they have to want one too. Think about that for a minute. Just because I want peace with you doesn't mean you necessarily want. People don't want to even forgive because they think to forgive somebody means you got to go to lunch with them next week. Right? You might want to forgive somebody and have no desire to be with them on a physical level, but you're no longer wishing them anything but peace. And you're not trying to obstruct them in any way. You're not trying to block their happiness in any way. You aren't judging them in a negative way. You aren't saying things that's despairing about them. You're not doing anything to block their happiness. That's some good forgiveness. That's cool. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily hang out with me. We may be in different places in terms of our values and what we want to do and how we want to do it. We have to let people come and go in our lives like we do breaths. The problem is that we try to keep everybody, even when we've learned as much as we can from each other at that time.
I love the way that these paragraphs, when taken together with the last line, 14, where it says, this relationship has been reborn as holy. As you read those paragraphs, it's really talking about the death of one entity, which was the insane relationship.
Yes.
And the birth of a new, and anyone who's ever had a newborn knows it's a chaotic time. and you have no idea what that newborn is going to become.
And they poop a lot.
You know, and they would poop a lot. And you know, and the reality being that the relationship is now newborn. You don't know what form that relationship is going to ultimately take. It may
Yes.
take a totally different,
Yes.
because you now have a new baby, and it's just. And what I'm hearing here is just be present with the new. Just be present with the new.
And that's exactly right. It's like our projecting into the future is us getting back into the ego. Rather than us going, in this moment, I'm going to choose for peace with you in this moment. And then as much as I can, I'm going to choose for peace with you in this moment. And then as much as I can, I'm going to choose for peace with you in this moment. And then let's allow things to unfold. Our ego is so fearful and so controlling that it thinks it needs to know exactly every aspect of the form of everything before we'll even embark on it. As a matter of fact, the thing that's keeping the relationship from being enjoyable right now is your script. That's why it's not enjoyable to you. You come up with a fantasy that you think this person is supposed to fulfill to the expense of being who they are and what they may want. That's what really what's going on. Every time anybody's angry, they're always angry because something or someone isn't acting out their script. That's what all anger is. I want to get on the bus and you don't play loud music. I'm angry because you're playing loud music and I got on the bus. Well, that was my script. My script was that I should be able to be on the bus without loud music. It's always your script that's got you upset. Whatever you're upset about right now, you're upset because of the script that you've written is not being acted out the way you want to. Even if it's a script of
In the meantime,
what you do in the meantime is keep your attitude that you're not going to attack her, and you're just like I just got to say, that you're open and receptive to peace with her anytime she's ready to have peace with you. And in the meantime, you give her to the Holy Spirit. There's a prayer at the end of chapter 16 that goes, I give you to the Holy Spirit as part of myself. I know that you will be released unless I want to use you to imprison myself. In the name of my freedom, I choose your release because I recognize that we will be released together. The Course in Miracles says that's what you say with those people. I get what you're going to do. Look, I want the Holy Spirit, the higher power, to handle my issues and my problems, right? You all count on the universal spirit handling the things in your life and helping you with them, right?
Yes.
Then why do you feel personally responsible for solving everybody else's? You're not even wanting to solve your own. You're saying, I want to give it to the higher power. Then we turn right around and think I have to fix somebody else or solve their issue. And the Course is saying, no, say I give you to, the greatest gift that you all could do for me is to give me to God. Give me to love. Give me to love. Give me to spirit. And then ask if there's anything you should do, anything that you should say, any place that you should go. And you'll know if you're receiving the answer because you will. It's so simple. And that the ego mind needs complexity. So it can't handle, would you like to have peace with me? No, get the hell out of my face. Okay, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. I'm gone. I'm out of here. See, that's too simple. Because there's more people that would want to have that with me than I could ever get around to in a lifetime, to spend all my time trying to get somebody to join with me who doesn't want to. It's crazy. There are billions of people on this planet. Are you so special that nobody would want to have a peaceful relationship with you? That's too special now. That's the epitome of specialness right there, buddy. You're the only person on earth that can't attract a partner. You're too special. No, you have a really deep script, and you think you're in charge of it, and you're not trusting the universe and spirit, and you're still acting according to what the world taught you should do in a relationship. That's why you don't have one. You haven't changed your mind. You're talking it.
You know, this thing, excuse me, this thing that touched me that you said was, I think this is really important, this thing you said. It said, you know, God is real. It's like God is real.
God is real.
And I got this thing, I think almost every meeting I go into of any kind, where I'm trying to help somebody or anything, I almost always have a script, right?
Yeah.
Always. And the script never works. And this thing that I've discovered is this. If this God is real, before I meet with them, I can ask the Holy Spirit for guidance.
If God is real, I want to make sure they're hearing us. If God is real, before you meet with anybody, you were saying you know you can ask God for
The
guidance.
Holy Spirit, I can ask the Holy
Yes.
Spirit for guidance.
Yes.
And you know what?
What?
Then when we're meeting and we're talking,
When you're meeting and talking.
and I'm confused about something, I can ask the Holy Spirit for guidance. Here's what's weird. I get it.
Yeah, well, and you were saying when you don't know, you can ask the Holy Spirit for guidance, and then here's those of you who think you don't hear the voice. That's why the voice is in a book.
Mm.
I said it again. Those of you who wonder why you don't hear the voice is in this book until you can hear it for yourself. That's the beauty of wisdom text. Is that where you don't know the difference between love and fear, the voice of God and the voice of your ego, the book is telling you exactly how to tell the difference between the two. And so you still would be listening to the voice for God. You're just doing it in a way that's objective to your own confused mind. But what adults do is they make up God's voice. We make it up based on what we want to happen, rather than go, okay, if I'm really moving in the right direction, the relationship is feeling more beneficial and joyous. But in the beginning, it may not feel that way. But if I have faith and keep moving and using sanity that I'm learning here, which rule number 1 is don't attack, 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 don't attack. What you think, but that's going to upset the ego mind, because all it does is try to attack through anger and make people feel guilty so that they'll do what you want them to do. That's the way the ego mind operates. It's all about me showing you how angry I am so that you'll give in to what I want. So when the ego mind hears don't attack, it turns it off totally, because that's the way it thinks it gets things done. So that's why teaching that's based on love and peace does not appeal to people who believe in attack. They want to feel justified. They want to hear you say, it's good that you went off on them like that. They want to hear, it's great that you're attacking. And so this kind of stuff to them seems like it's insane, and that you're leaving yourself defenseless, and you're going to let people take advantage of you. That's what the ego mind always goes to, because it's been living in a world that validated that, because there was their angry mind with other angry minds that didn't know what the truth was. Now you're being reborn. That means that you're going to be moving into a different environment and a different kind of energy. But you have to be what you want to have. So if you're not willing to be it, you can't have it. You can't be a same old crappy, angry, upset, attacking, going off on everybody person, and then just think all of a sudden you're going to just be surrounded by all these people that's just all nurturing and loving and peaceful. No, they'll avoid you like the plague. They won't try to hurt you. They won't try to harm you. They won't try to attack you, but they ain't going to ask you out. That's what you do already. Think about it. Those people that are really, really, really upsetting to you, I bet they're not the first ones that you want to be with all the time. But you're not trying to put a contract out on them. You're not attacking them. You just don't come around. That's what any evolved being is doing. They're not going to try to restrict your freedom. They're going to give you the love. But they're not going to also enter into any kind of an intimate relationship with you unless they just want a whole lot of drama. And once you start to wake up, the last thing you want is drama. The most thing you want is God. Yeah. You want love. That's what you really want. So let me go on a little bit further. Yeah, let's go on. But that's good. I'm glad you asked. And those of you online, thank you for Judy and Demola and the rest of y'all, Shahira. Thank you for being here and checking this out.
Party of participation. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so the ego is the fear-based mind, the false self. Okay, so it says, now the false self counsels thus. Substitute for this relationship another relationship. And it says, okay, I finished that one. It says, accept with gladness what you don't understand. Check that sentence out. I want you to gladly accept what you don't understand. I don't understand how I'm going to have peace and joy and happiness and oneness right now, because I think my understanding is really important, and that my understanding really makes something true. So my understanding is important. And he says, no, be glad. Accept gladly what you don't understand, and do what? Let what you don't understand be what? Explained to you. Let everything that you don't understand be explained to you. How? As you perceive His purpose, work in it to make it happen. So Spirit has given us a great deal. It's saying, I'm going to explain this to you while I'm giving you a loving relationship. I'm going to explain to you all the things that's going to happen in California while I'm driving you there. So at the same time I'm having your understanding, I'm also moving you towards your goal. That's a good deal. Then it says, you will find many opportunities to blame your brother for the failure of your relationship. You will find many opportunities to blame the other person for the failure of the relationship. I love it how it says opportunities. You will find many opportunities to blame the other person for the failure of your relationship, because at times your relationship will seem like it doesn't even have any purpose. Why am I even in this? It says a sense of aimlessness will come to hunt you. Ooh. A sense of aimlessness will come to hunt you. And what will this sense of aimlessness do? It will remind you of what? All the ways you once sought for satisfaction and thought you found it. All of a sudden, you'll be looking back to the past and all the things you thought you did that gave you satisfaction and you thought you found it. This relationship seems so aimless and pathetic that now all I'm doing now is thinking about all the other relationships that I used to have that it looked like I had such a much better time in than I am in this one. And then it says, don't forget the misery you really found. It says, I love it, he says, forget not the misery you really found. Of course, the Miracles are saying, most books are saying, forget your misery, just be positive and forget the misery. The Course of Miracles, which is what I like about it, it says, no, don't forget how miserable you were. Don't forget how miserable you were when you weren't loving. Don't forget how miserable you were when you believed in guilt. Don't forget how miserable you were when you thought you were sinful. Don't forget how miserable you were when you thought you were alone. Don't forget how miserable you were when you were trying to make everybody act out your fantasies and your script. Don't forget how miserable you were when you didn't have a connection to your source. Don't forget how miserable you were when neither one of you took responsibility and you were arguing and disagreeing and trying to control each other and bargain with each other rather than love each other. Don't forget the misery that you really found when you were doing it the way the world taught you to do it. Mm-hmm. And then the Course in Miracles says, because I'm asking you not to breathe life into your failing ego. Your ego is beginning to die out because you've chosen for peace. The desire you have to hurt yourself is beginning to die out. Yay. And the Course in Miracles says, don't give your ego mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. By calling that joker back.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? So don't give your ego resuscitation by going back to grievances and anger and separation. For your relationship hasn't been disrupted, your relationship has been saved. Now, you are very new to the ways of salvation and happiness. And you think you've lost your way. I love this line. You think you've lost your way. Your way is lost. You knew to how to have true love. You knew to how to have real happiness. He says, don't think you've lost your way. Your way is lost. But don't think losing your way is lost. Losing your fearful way, unaware way, asleep way, he says, this is not lost. In your newness, remember that you and your brother have started again. How? Together. So how do you know that you're doing a new relationship? You're doing it together. That's the definition of a new relationship. I'm no longer trying to do this alone. We are doing this together. I'm not the only one. That's the difference I see sometimes within the masculine and the feminine in relationships. That sometimes the men get caught up in and they don't realize in terms of how the male ego is programmed, is that the feminine usually is very much about the relationship, and then the masculine part of us is very much about the mission and the purpose. So the relationship is very important. It's like with many women, it doesn't make any difference how successful you are in the world if you don't value the relationship. You can make $1 million, but if they don't feel like they really have a tight relationship with you, with the man, it's like it can be go out here in the world and you got to make your mission and your purpose. I say it masculine and feminine because it doesn't necessarily correspond with your physical body. Okay? But the point that I'm making is that, so the feminine, many times the guy look like he messed up and then she give him another chance. The guy messed up again, look like she give him another chance. And the guy seems to mess up again, then she gives him another chance. And then sooner or later she does what I call threshold. She thresholds, where she goes, I'm done. And then he's all ready for another chance. He's not getting it. He freaks out and becomes a stalker, in some form or fashion. He's freaked out. He's devastated. He's had another chance over and over again. And then all of a sudden she goes, no, I'm done. And when the woman really says she's done, she's really, truly, in my experience, is pretty much done. And then you're kind of freaked out because you thought it was going to be another chance. See, that's the difference between two separate people being in a relationship, but two people being in a relationship together is a different thing because now we both are valuing it and the purpose. So we got a good blend of the masculine, which is the purpose, and the feminine, which would be the relationship that we have to have that. Right? So it's easy to have relationships if you have a conversation. If you really are honest about setting the intent. Because what a person is speaks louder than anything they say. All you have to do is observe and listen. Listen. All you have to do, people don't hide their desires if you really listen. They'll let you know what they really want really, really quick. Especially if you're the kind of person that does not attack them when they share their thoughts. And you don't judge them and criticize them. Then they feel safe. When they feel safe, they're not going to have secret thoughts. So most people are not listening. Right? And so the Course in Miracles says, you are very new in the ways of salvation. And here's another good thought. How can you say you really want a relationship that's totally peaceful and sane, and then find that it's extremely difficult for you to listen to how to have one? Like right now, if you find that it's the biggest strain in the world for you to hear what I'm talking about, what part of you would be totally uninterested in the way to have a sane, loving relationship?
Wait, I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The part of you that still wants you to continue to go through the suffering that you've gone through in the past. Sane people have bodies too. So whatever you want to do with a body, a sane person has that too. So you don't have to make the body the primary goal. Sane people usually have bodies.
Yeah, but are they fine? Yes, they are.
Well, when you're sane, everybody's fine. When you're sane and loving, there are no ugly people. It's only your ego that's doing it anyway. So there's no such thing as you being conscious and going, oh my God, because of the way you look, I really want you, and I really have a spiritual perspective. No, but that also doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you choosing to be with somebody that looks the way you prefer that they look, because there's nothing you can do to lose eternal love, and you're innocent no matter what. But just don't fool yourself. It's your ego that's interested in how their body looks. It's always your ego that's interested in how a person's body looks. But you're not bad. Really, really bad. I've never met anybody that I loved that wasn't in the body that was cool. Personally. Because when you're looking at somebody with the eyes of love, they look beautiful to you. It's when you're looking through the eyes of fear and specialness that you get all caught up in how they physically look. And I'm not completely beyond that yet. And I don't feel guilty about it. Because that would be opposite to what my curriculum is teaching me, which is I'm innocent. So don't feel guilty if you know you're still caught up in the way the body looks. You're still innocent. You're still loved. And the rest of it's going to take care of itself anyway. As you wake up, you're going to find that you just do things differently. You don't have to force yourself anyway. So he says, your way is lost. Don't think that this is lost. In your newness, remember that you and your brother have started again together. So what should you do? Take their hand to walk together along a road far more familiar than you now believe. Isn't it certain that you will remember a goal unchanged throughout eternity? For you have chosen but the goal of God, which is the goal of love, from which your true intent was never absent. I'd say that again. Take my hand. We should all take each other's hand and walk along the road to a goal of love and happiness that we've always had, because we've chosen the goal of God. We've chosen the goal of real love. We've chosen the goal of truth. And he says, that's your true intent. So, chill out. Acknowledge yourself here for hearing this much Holy Spirit. So we're going to do the financial expression of appreciation, and then we'll do a quick recap. And it's not hard, it's just different. What we're being asked to do isn't hard, it's just different. As a matter of fact, it's easier than anything we've ever been asked to do.
Let's stay together.
Loving you forever, all right with me. Those of you online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, go to earlpurdy.com. And also, I'm available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions. Go to my website, and it explains all of that. Because I can feel there's so much love in the world that wants to get out right now. I'm experiencing more and more people wanting to choose for love because of all the stuff that's happening right now. The positive side of everything that's happening right now is that I'm meeting more and more people who want to extend love and to all people regardless of their color, their race, or whatever. I went to a Lionel Richie show last Tuesday night, and it was like a massive love fest. And it was totally diverse. And everybody, and the first thing he was saying is, we got to love each other. We can't let love stand in the way. And everybody was inviting everybody to say something to everybody around them in a very loving way. Then I went to the Taste of Colorado on Friday night. Sheila E. She was awesome. And she made everybody in the audience turn around to somebody they don't know and say, I love you. So it was people moving all around the grounds telling people, I love you, I love you, I love you. And you saw the energy just rise. You know what I mean? It's some cool stuff that's coming out of this fearful stuff that's happening right now. And I want to be a part of the love.
Me too.
Yeah, I want to be a channel for the love. That's why I'm doing this. Because I don't want to talk about it and hear about it. I want to be it and experience it. But I got to do it if I want to experience it. I have to be it. Where I used to kind of like sit back and wait for everything to change around me because nothing was wrong with me. It was everybody else that was the problem.
That's right.
Yeah, it was everybody else that needed to change, not Earl. So Earl was waiting patiently till people changed. And all of a sudden you realize, oh, the world's a three-dimensional mirror. So what I'm looking at is my own consciousness. And so I need to be putting out what I want to receive, which is awesome, which is awesome. So anybody have a takeaway that they want to take out of here today before we finish up? Something you heard today that you want to remember. Sunshine.
I'd like to heal and have a peaceful relationship.
Yes, I want to heal and have a peaceful, and I know there are instructions for doing that. I don't have to wonder how I'm going to do that. I have instructions for how. Anybody else?
You have to be willing to have what you want to have.
You have to be willing to be what you want to have. That's right. I'm going to be what I want to have. Anybody else?
It's always the script that you have that has made you upset.
It's the script that's upsetting you. It's always the script that's upsetting me. I can want peace with you, but it's going to be the script that's going to upset me on the journey. So I have to want the peace and be willing for the truth to show me the way to do it. And when you're saying, well, how do I do that? It's in the book. It's in the book. It's in the book. How to do it is where? In the book. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah. I get to choose to be the love that I am, and I don't have to get to choose the form.
I can choose the love of what I am, and I don't necessarily have to choose the form. That's what I'm talking about.
The new relationship is doing it together, not on your own.
That's right. The new relationship is doing it together. And if somebody don't want to join you in the goal of peace, they're innocent. But then you have to ask yourself, what do I deserve? Am I worth having someone in my life that sees the value of being connected with me enough to join on the idea of peace and sanity and love together? You deserve that. So,
and then when the chaos and ambiguity comes in, to have faith and then have more faith and then have more faith.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
You haven't changed your mind. That's why you're not where you want to be.
You haven't changed your mind. That's why you're not where you want to be.
I can still want someone for their body and know that I'm innocent.
You can want somebody for their body and still know that you're innocent. That's right. There'll probably be a few people out there that would like you to want them for their bodies. It's just a rumor. It's a possibility.
Okay, using the traditional definition of hate, which is preferred.
Yeah. What condition?
Traditional definition.
Of hate? Of guess what?
Prefer.
Okay.
Don't hate the player. Don't hate the game. Look at your game.
Don't hate the player. Don't hate the game. Look at your game. I love it. I saw a hand over there.
Keep the faith in God that I originally established.
Keep the faith in God. Don't
Despite
abandon
what's
God, the
going
faith
on.
in God, and don't abandon the faith in each other.
You can't be everything to anybody else, which includes yourself, so you must ask God in.
That's right. You can't be everything to anybody else, so you need to ask God. And don't forget, I give you to the Holy Spirit as part of myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Anytime anyone is angry, upset, possibly pissed off, in pain emotionally, it's because someone's not caring enough.
The blues. Yes, you keep on singing the blues. When you gonna stop singing? When you gonna stop singing? Oh, when you gonna stop singing? Learn you have nothing to lose. Okay, let's don't breathe life into your failing ego. Have faith in each other, even in the trying times when you say together that you want to have a peaceful relationship with each other. You gave it up to the higher power. You gave the relationship up to the Holy Spirit. Why won't you believe that the Holy Spirit is there to purify what has been taken under the Holy Spirit's guidance? Yeah. You keep on shining. Ow! But you keep on shining. I'm upset. Nothing goes right for me. He never called back. She put out a warrant for my arrest. It's like you're gonna keep singing. I'm having no fun. It's like you're gonna keep singing. When you gonna quit singing? It's like you to learn you have nothing to lose. All right, Holy Spirit, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for wanting to go on your journey to peace with me. Sheila wants to make a quick announcement right quick.